Welcome back to Royal Watch Daily, the channel that doesn't shy away from the toughest royal stories unfolding right now. Today, we're going deep into what could be the most heartbreaking chapter yet in the Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor saga. His arrest on February 19th, his 66th birthday, marked a historic low, the first time a former senior royal has been detained in connection with the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Police held him for 11 hours on suspicion of misconduct in public office, allegedly sharing confidential UK government or trade documents with Epstein around 2010. He was released under investigation, no charges filed yet, and he continues to deny any wrongdoing. But the damage? Irreversible. Searches continue at his former Windsor home, Royal Lodge, and the headlines haven't stopped. King Charles has reportedly said the law must take its course, but the real human cost, it's hitting hardest behind palace walls, with his daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. These two women, Beatrice, 37, and Eugenie, 35, have spent years trying to carve out normal lives, marriages, young children, charity work, staying low profile while their parents dominated scandal after scandal. Until now, they've largely avoided direct public fire, but the latest Epstein files tranche from the U.S. Department of Justice changed that overnight. Emails mentioned Beatrice's name 38 times, Eugenie's 19 times. One bombshell, Sarah Ferguson allegedly took both daughters, then just 19 and 20, to visit Epstein in Florida only 5 days after his 2009 prison release for soliciting a minor. Another crude email from Sarah boasts about Eugenie's private life in shocking terms. A disturbing photo resurfaced too, appearing to show Andrew in a compromising position. The sisters were reportedly left broken, embarrassed, and aghast. Sources close to them say the revelations hit like a ton of bricks, reinforcing that their parents are liars and charlatans who've destroyed the entire family with their revolting behavior. Now, insiders in Heat magazine and other outlets claim the sisters are finally at breaking point. Staying quiet is no longer an option. There's a growing sense of obligation to tell their side to the right people, clarify timelines, perhaps even assist authorities if needed. Speaking to police is one thing, clearing their names publicly is another. A full sit-down interview? Not their style. They're discreet, private. But a tasteful and measured memoir? That's actively being discussed, packed with facts, raw emotion, and a focus on protecting their own children. Beatrice is mum to Sienna, 4, and Athena, 1, with Ada Wardham Apelli Mozzi. Eugenie has sons August, 5, and Ernest, 2, with Jack Brooksbank. Motherhood has shifted everything. They still love their parents, family bonds don't vanish, but the priority now is shielding the next generation from this poison. If they don't take control of the narrative now, they may never get the chance. Public sympathy could flood in if people truly understand how horrific this has been for them. Two young mums caught in a storm they didn't create. Remember Beatrice's role in that infamous Newsnight disaster? Reports say she helped organize it, supported her dad through the prep. Diarist Richard Eden speculated she knew Andrew misled the public about cutting Epstein ties. Another email claims Beatrice thought Sarah's 2011 pedophile apology for Epstein was important, framed by some as PR maneuvering. All unproven, all denied by Andrew, but the questions linger. The sisters attended recent royal Christmas services, showing they're still in the fold, no evidence they knew of wrongdoing. But crisis talks are reportedly happening, with each other, perhaps even King Charles over the weekend. Eugenie said to have cut contact with Andrew pre-arrest, Beatrice more conflicted, maintaining limited ties. Sarah Ferguson laying low with friends, in tears. And across the pond, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are allegedly encouraging them. Having walked their own path with Oprah and Spare, the Sussexes see value in transparency. They're offering intros to publishers and agents. A potential book deal could bring clarity, sympathy, and yes, serious money.
This is pivotal for the monarchy. The palace culture thrives on discretion, but in 2026 Britain, transparency wins trust. Speaking out risks family fractures, upsetting the machine. Staying silent risks letting the narrative be defined by scandal forever. Beatrice and Eugenie are at a true crossroads. Loyalty to parents versus legacy for their kids and their own futures. What began as a long-simmering royal controversy has erupted into a full-blown crisis in recent months, with the release of the Epstein files keeping Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and Sarah Ferguson firmly in the spotlight and under intense public scrutiny. And now, with the former prince arrested on his 66th birthday on suspicion of misconduct in public office and police searching addresses in both Berkshire and Norfolk, the headlines keep on coming. The arrest is not an indication of guilt, and no charges have been made against Andrew yet. And with explosive claims continuing to emerge amidst the ongoing investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, insiders claim the mounting scandal is placing unprecedented strain on their daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, behind palace doors. Until recently, Beatrice, 37, and Eugenie, 35, had largely managed to sidestep the public furor surrounding their parents. That changed dramatically when bombshell correspondence, allegedly between Sarah and Epstein, was released last month, mentioning Beatrice's name 38 times and Eugenie's 19 times. Among the most shocking claims were emails allegedly sent by Sarah, which appeared to boast about Eugenie's private life, mentioning her, and the revelation that Sarah had taken Beatrice and Eugenie, then aged 20 and 19, to visit Epstein while he was serving house arrest in 2009, following his conviction for soliciting a minor, a 14-year-old girl, for prostitution. Initially, sympathy leaned heavily towards the sisters, with reports suggesting they had been left broken, embarrassed, and aghast by fresh allegations. The distress intensified further following the circulation of a disturbing photograph reportedly showing a man who appears to be Andrew leaning over a woman lying on the floor. Now, with speculation growing over what they knew about their parents' controversial relationship and whether they could play a role in clarifying events, a source tells us that Beatrice and Eugenie could finally be ready to break their silence over Andrew and Sarah's revolting behavior. They're both totally floored and humiliated by recent revelations. It's hit them like a ton of bricks and reinforced the fact that their parents are liars and charlatans who've destroyed the entire family with their revolting behavior, the insider says. And there's a growing feeling that staying quiet is no longer an option, that there's an obligation for them to tell their side to the right people. The public would no doubt applaud them if they were able to clarify certain timelines and facts. They add, but speaking to the authorities is one thing. There's also pressure to clear their names with the public. Doing a sit-down interview is not their style, but a tasteful and measured memoir with the facts and a lot of emotion is an option that's being put forth. The resurfaced scandal has also revived scrutiny around Andrew's now infamous appearance on BBC Newsnight with Emily Maitlis in 2019, and the role Beatrice is believed to have played in helping organize it. Reports at the time suggested she was instrumental in supporting her father and assisting with preparations for the widely criticized podcast. Further controversy erupted when Daily Mail diarist Richard Eden claimed Beatrice may have been aware her father allegedly misled the public about distancing himself from Epstein, writing in his column, "I believe that Beatrice knew her father had lied when he said this, although there is no evidence of this, and Andrew has denied any wrongdoing during his friendship with Epstein." He continued to question the sisters' awareness of the relationship, adding, "That jolly trip to Florida, with Sarah, to visit Epstein 5 days after his jail release in 2009 is not, moreover, the only disclosure in the files that has persuaded me Beatrice and Eugenie knew their father told a pack of lies to the nation from the palace." Another email, allegedly authored by Sarah, claimed Beatrice believed it was important her mother apologize for remarks made in 2011, calling Epstein a pedophile. Something Richard suggested hinted that Fergie and Beatrice were conspiring on how to create positive public relations for the convicted criminal. Andrew has consistently denied any wrongdoing. But fast forward over a decade, and insiders say motherhood has since become a defining factor in how the sisters are now processing the situation. Beatrice shares daughters Sienna, 4, and 1-year-old Athena with husband Edoardo Mapelli-Mazzi, while Eugenie is mom to sons August, 5, and Ernest, 2, with Jack Brooksbank. And now the source say protecting their children is becoming their biggest priority. They still love their parents, so there's a natural urge to want to protect them, but more than that, they want to protect their own kids. There's a sense that if they don't take control of the narrative now, they may never get the chance, the source says. If they, the public, were to fully grasp how horrific this has been for both Eugenie and Beatrice, they'd likely earn a lot of sympathy too, which could go a long way into helping them come back from this. Despite the mounting drama, the sisters' attendance at Christmas celebrations with senior royals has been seen as a sign they remain in favor within palace circles, and there is currently no evidence suggesting they had any involvement or knowledge of their parents' alleged behavior. However, insiders suggest the decision over whether they speak publicly could have lasting implications for the firm, who have come under intense scrutiny over how they have responded to the allegations against the former Duke and Duchess of York. The source says it's also very delicate because they can't risk upsetting the palace machine, and the palace culture has always leaned towards discretion. There's a fear of upsetting that balance, but there's also an understanding that transparency, handled properly, can be a strength. Anything that helps bring clarity and restore trust, provided it's done respectfully and not as a media circus, is a good thing for the monarchy. It's hard to argue otherwise, especially considering they want to modernize, and in a modern-day UK, the citizens reward transparency. Meanwhile, support is reported coming from across the Atlantic from cousin Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle, who previously shared their own royal struggles during their headline-making interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2021, and in Harry's 2023 memoir, Spare. According to the source, the Sussexes are now encouraging the sisters to tell their own story. Meghan and Harry both feel like it's a great idea for Beatrice and Eugenie to tell their side of things. They can clarify exactly how close their parents were to him at the very least, we're told. Meghan and Harry are even offering to introduce them to publishers and agents that can help them put together a deal. They could both earn a lot of money in the process.
However, sources say the sisters are facing a deeply personal dilemma about where their loyalties lie and whether speaking out could cause further fractures within the family. Ultimately, this decision rests with Beatrice and Eugenie alone, and they're at a crossroads, at least when it comes to the memoir. They do want to draw a line and move forward, but it's quite daunting. They've been defined by association for too long. If they're going to study the ship for their own families, it may require stepping into uncomfortable territory and finally telling their story in their own voice. So, Royal Watchers, what happens next? Will we see a memoir that shakes the firm? Or do they stay silent, protect the institution, and let time heal? Vote in the poll below. A. Yes, they should write a memoir and tell their truth. B. No, too risky. Silence protects the family. C. Only speak to authorities, not the public. Comment your thoughts. I read every single one. Timestamps in the description for easy navigation. If this emotional roller coaster has you gripped, hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We're covering every twist in real time. Thanks for watching Royal Watch Daily. Stay informed, stay compassionate. The royals are human too. Until next time.